I loved when I first met you guys, how you guys functioned. I loved it. You know, when I saw you guys at the house in Lehigh.
You seemed so functional.
Boy, we pulled the wool over your eyes.
Oh my gosh, wow.
That I didn't want to be an advocate of plural marriage anymore because I am more aware now than I ever was before the apparent and obvious unfairness in the relationship.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Thursday, April 28th. It is time for our second video. I was having a hard time finding something to talk about for the second video, and then I found this over on Reddit. So shout out to the Sister Wives Reddit page, y'all. Sometimes I'm like stumped, and then today I was like, well, I'll just see if anything's happened over on Reddit, and it was. Before we go into the details about this video, I just want to say thank y'all for the likes and all of the subscriptions the last couple days. It's been amazing to see so many likes and comments. I have been having a blast. I've been doing a better job of actually getting into my comments and interacting and answering questions and just listening to you, and there is some fun stories in there. So for this video, I have a goal. Y'all, let's try to get 6,000 likes. I don't ever get that many on these Sister Wives videos. It's easy to get 10,000 on a Duggar one, but on a Sister Wives, I don't know. Can we do it? Do me a favor. And if you're never, ever, ever left me a comment, leave me a comment. I'd love to know who's watching me. Okay, did you guys see that Janelle has been traveling all over and she's in Lisbon, Portugal? Oh, I love Lisbon. Have you ever been to Lisbon? It is so beautiful. It is so gorgeous. It's on the sea. There's like ports, and there is beautiful architecture and amazing food, and the weather is gorgeous, and there's castles, and there's culture. It is such an eclectic city. I loved Lisbon. In Portugal, they say Lisboa. So Miss Janelle won a trip with Plexus, and she's traveling in Lisbon with her sister. Now, for those of you wondering if it's going to be Kody's new next wife, no. Her sister is actually married, so Kody's not going to be marrying Janelle's sister. You know, that does happen in the Sister Wives world. Sisters often marry the same husband. It happens. So while Janelle is gallivanting and enjoying her incredible trip, by the way, her pictures are gorgeous and she looks to be having a really good time. Do you know a few seasons ago, she said that she couldn't wait until like the kids were almost graduated and she could like get into her RV and become footloose and fancy free. Apparently, this is her first international trip in a really long time. She posted on Instagram and it said, Lisbon, Portugal, first international trip for me since 1987 and 88. I qualified for an all-expense paid trip with Plexus in a contest last year, and here we are. Stay tuned for lots of photos. Oh, I'm so glad that she's having fun. Now, this trip has been planned for a year, and guess what's happening back in Flagstaff? Well, apparently, according to some little gossipers, a awards ceremony was going down in Flagstaff for the high school kids. So I don't love talking about the kids on the social medias about the kids from the show, but I wanted to share this post that I found over on Reddit because it had some deets on Kody and Robyn. So apparently Brianna and Savannah both received awards for the honor roll, and there was an awards at the high school. And at the event, apparently Brianna and Savannah were there with Robyn and Kody. Now, what the poster said is interesting. They said this: my daughter attends the same high school as Brianna and Savannah. Last night was the academic awards. Robyn and Kody, that's so funny, sat next to each other with Brianna next to Robyn and Savannah on the other end next to Kody. The two girls didn't say a word to each other, and R and K had scowls on their faces all night and looked miserable. My daughter has said at school the girls don't even acknowledge each other's existence, and I thought it was odd Janelle wasn't there. I didn't take any pictures to respect the kids' privacy. Some of the people in the comments were giving her a little bit of gull for saying that she didn't take any pictures to respect their privacy when she just spilled the tea, but y'all, that's neither here nor there. So I'm not surprised if the girls don't get along. To be honest, there's a lot that happens with sibling rivalry, and Janelle's kids were never super, super close to Robyn's kids, and Savannah has, for the most part, kind of been independent with her older brothers and sisters with Janelle and more ingrained with Christine's kids. So she's been closer to like Isabel and Gwendolyn and that group. So for me, the fact that she's not interacting as much with Brianna doesn't really surprise me. And I think there's actually like a couple years age difference between them. So Brianna is 16 years old. Savannah is 17. So Brianna is 16 years old and Savannah is 17 years old. So they're a year apart in school. And my guess is they weren't super close growing up. And just because you share a dad doesn't mean you're super close. And then you add the whole Robyn component in there. And then Janelle's not super close with Robyn. Janelle actually has feelings about Robyn. So it doesn't really surprise me that the girls wouldn't be besties. Not to mention, like I said before, Savannah is close with Christine's kids. So that isn't the part that got me. And it wouldn't shock me because siblings don't all get along. And I don't care if siblings don't get along. If you had 17 siblings, do you think you'd get along with every single one of them? I doubt it. But what I thought was funny was that Kody and Robyn were scowling. Secretly, I imagine Kody making Robyn miserable. I have a theory, you guys. I have a theory. I have a theory. Here's my theory. Even though Robyn has spent the better part of, 10 years trying to alienate Kody from all of his other wives and trying to make it so that he doesn't want to be around anyone but her and sort of pinning the women against each other, I think that now that Robyn has all of Kody's attention, that it might not be as fun as she thought it might be. And on top of that, Kody's whole mood apparently hasn't been the best as of late. So do you remember at the tell-all and they were talking about how Kody said he's been really angry and having a lot of hard time with the grief and not the most pleasant. And even Robyn last season was talking about just how utterly unpleasant Kody has been, and that it's kind of overwhelming to be around Kody all the time because he's constantly with her now, and she wasn't used to having him with her all the time. So part of me wonders, and this is just me thinking out loud, y'all, part of me wonders here, do you think that now that Robyn has Kody all to herself for these past couple years and she's not competing with anyone else anymore, the rest of the ladies have basically checked out, or Kody's checked out of the relationships with those ladies, do you think now that Robyn has him all to herself that she's like, why did I fight so hard for this guy? You know how she'd always be kissing his booty and just sucking up to him in front of the other ladies, but now that she's with him all the time, she realizes he's totally type A, kind of misogynistic, super difficult, brooding, controlling, and she's like, oh gosh, now I really have to be obedient and submissive all the time?
What a waste.
Help me understand that.
Because there's two functioning people that could figure it out.
Even when things weren't going great with Christine or Robyn or Janelle or Mary, he hasn't slept with Mary in years, but even when things were going better with them, he was at least at their houses every few days. So Robyn would get reprieve, right? She would get a break from him. Do you ever wonder if now that the pressure is on and they're together all the time, that it might crack their relationship? I do. Because I think Kody is the kind of man, if I'm going to be completely honest, that's not easy to be around and is only good in small doses. I believe that Kody has an overwhelmingly powerful presence and personality that it would be very hard to be around him at all times. I feel like you could probably manage small doses of his control freak behavior, but after a while it might grate on you. I think his need to be in control all the time, his need to be right all the time, his need to have things his way all the time would be really hard, especially if you're used to having things sort of autonomous for a very long time. So secretly, I'm wondering, are they scowling because they're dealing with some marital strife? And then the other part of me recognizes that assemblies at schools are never fun. And if they're anything like me, I get highly bored when I'm stuck in a situation where I have to be for an hour or 2 hours and you just sort of have to clock in and clock out. Not to say that they're not happy for their kids or that they don't enjoy it, but some people just don't like to be out and about doing these types of things. Could be something like that. Could have been bored. They could have just had a fight. They could have just been irritated. They could have been tired. But secretly, I wanted it to be something like there's strife in this marriage, because it would be sort of like karma. It would be karma. It would be karma. It would be like Robyn got what she wanted and then she realized it wasn't what she wanted. Now I recognize this is a lot of speculation, but that's what we do sometimes on this channel. We speculate. So do you think there's strife in the marriage, or is it just like, Kody, they were bored, or Kody, they were tired? It's nothing. Or do you want to be with me and live on an island and believe there might be trouble in paradise? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.